Mongeau, and before I address this look, which believe me, I fucking will, I just want to say that I really, really missed you. And I know that that's silly and cheesy, but this week is the longest that I've ever gone in the past year. That was really bad English, but the longest I've gone in the past year without filming a video. And I must say that it was the weirdest, most foreign, empty feeling that I felt in a long time. Every time anything happened, I wanted to get on camera, I wanted to talk to you. I've piled up so many things to like film about because I haven't been like regularly filming, and it's been so weird and so frustrating. And let's just say I don't want to do it again. I don't ever want to go that long without filming again. I missed you guys so much, but I just want to say thank you for everybody who's been like tweeting me nonstop or interacting with me on like Periscope and Snapchat and giving me well wishes and telling me they hoped I had a speedy recovery and all of that. Like, that means so much to me when you're in a moment like that where you're in pain, you feel like shit, you don't know what's going on, you're stressed out about your health and shit. All you want to do is film and you can't film. To have all that love like coming at you is just like the best feeling in the world, and I like, please don't think I took that for granted at all. I was so thankful for that. So yeah, I want to touch on hitting 1 million like super briefly, which is so fucking insane. How can one even touch on that briefly? I'm going to be making an entire video about 1 million subscribers where I'm going to get very emotional and talk about a lot of things in my life that I've never discussed before. And I'm so excited to share that level of me on a deeper level, but I don't want to do that looking like this. I know that that's a little vain, but I want regular feeling 100% fucking blonde hair to her fucking knees Tana filming that video, not like this under the weather version of me. But I didn't want to film this video without saying anything like an asshole, so I just want to say thank you so fucking much. And in a very, very short way of putting it, you guys have created a family for me that I was never able to experience. You guys have been there for me the way friends never could be, the way family never could be, and I feel so thankful every day to have created this family. And the fact that it's 1 million people and I'm talking to 1 million people is the most unfucking real thing ever, and it is all you. You did all of this. It is you guys. You watching is what made everything possible, and I'm so thankful for that. And I will be at 1,000 subscribers or 1 million subscribers. I'm so thankful, but that will be another video. Now, you probably sat through 2 minutes of this and you're like, Tana, are you gonna touch on why the fuck you look like that? Okay, hi. First and foremost, if this looks gross, I'm not allowed to clean it. So like, it's not me, like doctor's orders, but that's not gonna fucking stop me from filming a video. Like, you're gonna see me at my best, you're gonna see me at my worst, like that's life. I don't like when people get like surgeries and stuff like that and they just like don't come on camera at all for the whole thing, and then they come back when they like look perfect and amazing. I wanna like share every moment of that journey with you, you know? So I basically just wanted to talk about everything and what happened and all the logistics of it and answer some questions I feel like you guys may have and like the common ones that I've been getting. So yeah, first question that I've gotten the most and a lot of people have been talking about is, did you get plastic surgery? She got plastic surgery. She just got a nose job, but she's trying to talk about it like it's on a nose job, blah, blah, blah. I actually got what is called a septioplasty. A nose job is a rhinoplasty. So those are two completely different surgeries. You can Google them on their own or whatever. I mean, the best way to just put it is I did not go into that surgery changing the looks of my nose at all. I did not ask for the looks of my nose to be changed. I went to a doctor and I told them all of the problems of my nose, and I told them that I wanted them to be fixed, and they told me that they could not fix it without surgery. So now I guess I'll tell you the problems of my nose and what they did to fix them before I get into more of the like plastic surgery chat, okay? Okay. So my whole life, ever since I was like 2 or 3, I've gotten severe nosebleeds, and I've been to 1 million blood disorder doctors. I don't have any form of like blood clotting disorder. And I've been to 1 million nose doctors and they could never really pinpoint it. Some would just say like it's dry in Nevada where you live, that's why your nose bleeds, or like, we don't know, we can cauterize it. I've had my nose cauterized, they've packed it 1 million times, but my nosebleeds got so severe throughout my life that blood would come out of my eyes, blood would come out of my ears, and blood would come out of my mouth. This is actually something that's more common than you would think. Like, what I'm saying, you're like, what the fuck, blood came out of your eyes? Yes, I've literally cried blood like hail fucking demons, blood coming out of my eyes, holy fucking shit. But it became a little more normal because it happened to be like a lot. Basically, when your nose fills up with blood, like it has nowhere else to go, so it's gonna start coming out of all of your other sinus tracts, and that's what would happen to me all the time. I would have to get my nose packed all the time. I would miss so much school from it when I went to school all throughout my life. I have a few stories here on my channel related to my nosebleeds. I have a story about how I shut down Disneyland because of a really bad nosebleed, about how I punched myself in the face to make my nosebleed to get on a field day, but those are other stories. But my whole life, my nose has bled very, very, very severely, and it was always just kind of blamed on little things, but like what was happening to me obviously wasn't normal, and over the past 6 months it was getting progressively worse, and that's why I chose to see a doctor. And I will explain to you, I finally found out the exact problem, but I will get into that in a second. The other problems with my nose were that I have an incredibly deviated septum, but doctors would never operate on it when I was younger because they were afraid of my nosebleeds, like bleeding too much, which happened when I got this surgery. We'll talk about that in a fucking second too. But they were afraid of my nose bleeding too much when they wanted to go in there and operate, so they told me I had to wait till I was older to grow out of the nosebleeds, even though I never grew out of them. But yeah, so I could never get the surgery when I was younger. I also had sleep apnea, which is basically where I would snore so deeply because of my nose that it would like stop my breathing for a second and like wake me up, and it was really, really bad and scary, and it made my sleeping like suck, and I would snore really, really loudly like a fucking gross ass grown man, and it was so sexy. And then the main problem, the reason that really persuaded me to get surgery is before surgery I only breathed, that's a word, right? Breathed out of 13% of my nose. 13%, the whole nose. It was 7 this nostril and 6 this nostril, completely total. So my whole, like all the time my nose just felt like a stuffed nose, which made me a mouth breather. Being a mouth breather is the most unsexy, worst fucking thing that could ever happen to you in life. Like when you sleep at night, you wake up every day with like a sore, throaty feeling. You lose your voice all the time. As you guys know, especially if you're an OG Tana subscriber and you'd watch my old videos, I would lose my voice all the time. Like literally like once every other week I would lose my voice. And we were never able to figure out why I was just losing my voice all the time, but finally a doctor told me it's because I'm mouth breathing all the time, so when I would sleep my throat would get really, really dry and then I would lose my voice. And it was like the worst thing in the entire fucking world, and that would really affect me making YouTube videos because all the time I would lose my voice to the point that I like couldn't talk like at all, you know what I mean? And that was because I was only breathing out of 13% of my nose because of my deviated septum and because it was always clogged with like dried blood. I know that's really gross, but it's the truth. So yeah. In the last 6 months, my nose has just been bleeding so much. If you follow me on Snapchat, shameless self-promo, TanaMongeau1, I literally Snapchat my nosebleeds all the time. And I was kind of doing that also so like people couldn't just be like, she got surgery for no reason. Like I was literally showing all of my nosebleeds, being like, am I a liar now? Like LOL. So yeah, my nose had been bleeding so much, so I found a doctor that was like willing to actually work on all of these problems because most of them weren't. And I booked the operation, and it was the scariest thing I have ever like done or embarked on in my entire life. Because keep in mind, before this I had never been under anesthesia, I had never had any main operation done, I'd never broken a bone. Like they had to break my nose, so like obviously that's like really, really scary. And I mean, the thing knowing that when I come out of this I have no idea what my nose is gonna look like is one of the scariest feelings in the world. Like knowing that I could have a fucked up like Michael Jackson face for the rest of my life in order to breathe, you know what I mean? I was literally bawling to the doctor like, my nose isn't gonna look so bad, right? And people all the time would comment that like I had a fucked up nose and they didn't like it and I should get a nose job and blah blah blah. And I just want you guys to know that I was not getting a nose job for that reason. I was totally fine with my nose before. Like I didn't have any like confidence issues with that, and I would have never ever operated on it had it worked normally, you know? But that's not hating on plastic surgery in any way, shape, or form. I actually think it's awesome in life if you're insecure about something and there's a way to change it. Life is fucking short. Change it. Like, you know what I mean? That's dope. But this was not an aesthetics thing. You know, I would have left it the way it was and got my fucking tits done or something. Like, honestly. So yeah, knowing that my nose could look any way after this is really, really scary. And like the healing time, just all of that was a very, very, very scary fucking thing. But like it had to be done in order to keep making my videos and be healthy and be able to travel and like be a normal person. Like not being able to go places all the time because my nose is bleeding. Like my nose started bleeding in an Uber like a month ago, and he literally was like, sorry, like you have to like get out as soon as possible. Like I can't have this in my car. Like I was pouring blood in an Uber. Like that's not okay. My nose started bleeding at Best Buy. Like the worker and I were mid-conversation. I was trying to get a fucking charger for my MacBook Air and my nose started bleeding. Like hello, hi. One time my nose bled all over a guy when he was trying to hook up with me. That's actually in a really old Q&A if you guys wanted to find that. But yeah, it just started affecting my life to the point that it was like, okay. So I booked the surgery and I ended up doing it. And I wanted to do the surgery in like June or July, but the doctor only had an opening in like May, and I was just kind of like, well, whatever, like might as well do it now. But I did not prepare for it at all in any way, shape, or form, and did not want to like do it in this time of my life, like at all. Like I did not choose to have it at all at that time of like life. But like, I was like, whatever, like better now than never. Like, why keep putting it off? Just get it the fuck done. Like, stop being a pussy, stop being afraid, whatever. Now, the actual surgery. I want to tell you guys a fun fact that I think that is absolutely insane about my surgery. And when I heard this, it was one of the scariest things I ever heard. The day after my surgery, my doctor sat down with me and he goes, because it was him and another doctor, like they both did different things. Like my doctor was working more on like the deviated septum and the bleeding problems, but this doctor was working on like other stuff, making sure that like my tissue and stuff on the inside of my nose was okay, which it wasn't. I'll get into that. But anyways, he sat me down and he goes like, me and the other doctor have done over 5,000 nose surgeries in our career, and I have seen every like messed up nose problem, looks wise, inside wise, bleeding wise, whatever. And in my entire career, your nose is the worst nose I have ever worked on. And it, like he didn't mean that like looks wise, he meant like when I opened it up and looked at it, like it is the worst nose I've ever seen. Like you were not breathing at all, you had no tissue covering your nose, which that's why my nose bleeds all the time. I'll get into that in a second. And apparently the second that I went under anesthesia, like they hadn't even touched my nose at all yet. Like nothing was in my nose, nothing had cut my nose, nothing had done anything to my nose at all yet. Like they literally just put in the fucking thing, which bruised the fuck out of me, by the way. Put in the little thing. I went under anesthesia and I was asleep for about 1 minute. Like nothing had happened yet, and I just started pouring blood. Like my nose just started pouring blood like all over me. He goes, I'd never seen anything like that in my entire career. Like pouring blood, like what I like a faucet. They had to give me a medicine in my IV that like stopped blood flow in my nose like completely. They never had to give another patient like that much of that medicine ever in their entire surgery history. It was unfucking real. And when he told me that, I was literally flabbergasted. My dad was standing there like what the fuck? He literally told me that my nose was the only nose that he ever contemplated like stopping the surgery, like getting my nose to stop bleeding, taking the anesthesia off, letting me wake up and saying like, sorry, I can't do this. But like he literally, like they talked about that like over my dying body, like if they should do that. Like that's how bad it was, if that explains anything to anyone. So what they did to my nose now, because I know everyone's really curious about like what actually happened, that's what you guys have been asking me so much, is they went in there and fixed my deviated septum, which all that really took was like some shaving, I guess. And then they went into my nasal passages and they took my breathing from 7 and 6, so 13, to 67%. So I don't know how the percents add up on each side, but it was 13%, now it's 67%. So that's really exciting. It's not guaranteed, but that's like the projected of what it's looking at. So I should be losing my voice a lot less, and I like will be able to nose breathe and not snore and be like a normal human being. And so the reason why my nose has bled my whole life, which no other doctor could ever figure out, is most people, through the middle of their nose, like through this part of their nose, like this part, you have all these direct links to blood cells, like blood stems that blood like spits out of, you know what I mean? And most people have a thick layer of tissue covering those blood cells. Do you get what I'm saying? So like, that's why most people don't get nosebleeds, or if they do, it'll be like if they come somewhere dry, it'll crack and they'll get a small nosebleed, or like if they hit their nose, that tissue will break and they'll get a small nosebleed, like whatever. But I was born with zero tissue, so the inside of my nose is basically just completely open blood cells, like blood stems, like with no tissue covering it at all. So anytime anything would bump my nose or it would get dry, the blood cell area would crack like the Sahara, like the best way he described it, like the Sahara Desert, like the way desert floor like cracks. It would crack and all these open blood cells would just start pouring red blood like directly from my nose. And it wouldn't clot because there was nothing, there was no tissue to like mend it together. Like it was just pouring directly out of blood cells. Do you get what I'm saying? Which is like the scariest fucking thing in the world. Because most people that get nosebleeds, it either bleeds from here or here, but mine was just bleeding from like my whole nose, like every blood cell, like ever in my nose, which is so scary. So they took a bunch of cartilage from my ear, which is why my ear's like bandaged up. It's fucked up. Like this thing is like sewn all the way through my ear. But they put that on the inside to line it to make it like a little bit better. They said that there is a chance that it will still happen, but now there's something to help the blood to clot faster, so it'll either be shorter, smaller nosebleeds, and just a lot less of them. They said that a main thing that is like affecting it though is where I live. I live in Nevada, I live in Vegas. That's one of the driest places you can live. So now I have to put like humidifiers in my whole house, which kind of sucks, but like whatever, I'll be living in California soon enough to where I won't have to deal with that as heck. After they fixed all of that, the best way he described it to me was they just kind of sewed everything back up but made it look normal. Like obviously when they like fixed all the tissue right here, that would make my nose really uneven and fucked up, so they made it like normal. And then like my nostrils, like when they peel it back, they have to put it back on, and now there's like different cartilage, they have to make it look like normal. So he just described to me that my nose would be looking very normal. Like I didn't choose a shape, I didn't say what I wanted, it wasn't plastic surgery in any way, shape, or form. And anybody who's saying like that it is, like you're dumb. I'm coming on here saying it's fucking not. So that's like, I don't know. And like my nose wasn't in the state where I could tell them what I wanted it to look like, because I had so many medical problems wrong with it that they were literally only fixing medical problems. Do you get what I'm saying? So yeah. So now tomorrow I'm going back to Los Angeles to get this cast off, and then they're going to take all of these stitches out and this thing out of my ear, and then the packing out of my nose. Most people, when they get nose surgery or nose jobs or whatever, they get stents, like metal stents put in their nose, but my nose lining was like too weak for that. It just kept collapsing and bleeding, he said. So mine's just like packed with a bunch of shit that they're gonna take out, so I don't know. And for everybody asking if it hurt, my nose did not hurt at all. I mean, if you're thinking about getting like rhinoplasty, don't take what I'm saying as your rhinoplasty won't hurt, because obviously I got a different surgery, but I mean, I got a fuck ton of shit done to my nose. It did not hurt at all. The only thing that hurt was my ear, and my ear hurt excruciatingly, but that's because they took all of the cartilage from the back of my ear, like just scooped that bitch out and sewed it back the fuck up. So I mean, I'm assuming that's why it hurt, you know? But my nose just has felt like a head cold. And a lot of people have trouble with after a nose job, like they don't breathe out of their nose for like an entire week. Like you have to breathe out of your mouth, your like throat gets really dry and it's like shitty. But I already didn't really breathe out of my nose, so it's a very, very normal feeling. It kind of like, my nose like runs a lot right now because there's like mucus and shit, it's really gross. But yeah, I just wanted to explain to you guys my experience with the entire surgery and clarify that it like wasn't plastic surgery. But don't think this video is me saying like I would never get plastic surgery, I'm dissing plastic surgery or anything like that. Like I said, I think plastic surgery is so amazing because insecurities suck, and if you can fix something you're insecure about, that's a beautiful thing. But I wanted to talk about my surgery and actually explain it because you guys have had so many questions, and just like you guys have been so concerned, and it's like the sweetest thing in the world. And I honestly just missed filming so much, and this was the only video I could film like coming on here like looking like this, you know what I mean? Because like any other video I'd be like, bitch, what the fuck, like go to bed, like go rest. But like obviously I could film a video talking about my nose surgery with a fucked up face right now. So yeah, if you have any more questions about anything related to my nose, I will be happy to answer them in the comments below, and I'm so thankful that you guys have been so concerned. I'm sorry that this video wasn't like super funny or anything like my regular videos, but the next video that I upload will be back to my regular Tana Storytime Q&A, a million subscribers AF self, and I can't fucking wait. Thank you guys so much for supporting me. I love you. But yeah, that is it for today's video all about this surgery. I hope I helped anyone getting a septioplasty or with fucked up nosebleed problems, but I don't think anybody has as fucked up of nosebleed problems as me. So yeah, thank you guys so much for being so concerned and caring so much. And next time I see you, I will look not like this, and I will be back to myself. I love you so much, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye. Hey, got any games? I can honestly say I will never film a video looking this fucked up again.